Welcome to the Money Insider series, where we talk real money. I'm millennial money expert and author Stephanie O'Connell, and today we're talking love and money. Namely, what happens when supporting your partner through a tough time and a few too many "don't worry, I'll pick up the check this times" leads to a breakup and a $9,000 credit card bill. Today, we talked to blogger Li Cain to find out how she got into this very situation, how she got out, and how she moved on to build a relationship strengthened and supported through real money talk.
So I had lived overseas in Australia for about a year with an ex-boyfriend of mine. As far as financials were concerned, we had no conversations whatsoever about it. I basically paid for everything. I paid for rent, groceries, trips around Australia. It was like, well, you know what, you have the credit card, you can swipe it because we need the credit card to rent a car. So I would just do it, and I would, in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, well, he'll pay me back, but that never happened. I really didn't think much of it at the time. I just assumed we're gonna get married, we're gonna combine our finances, it'll all just work out. And I realized now that I was in deep denial about what was going on. I had never confronted him about the financial stuff. I was so just willing to do whatever it took to keep that relationship that I thought if I ever spoke to him about finances, that it would just end up being a really rocky relationship. And when I returned to Canada to get a full-time job, thinking I was going to marry him, I realized I was broke. I was $9,000 in debt, and he broke up with me over MSN Messenger, which is like Facebook Messenger, I guess, back in the 90s. I was in shock for, I think, 3 days. I didn't even believe it. I kept reading that message over and over again and figuring out, is this a joke? And so when I finally accepted the fact that he had broken up with me, that's when I actually checked my credit card statement. I had not checked my credit card statement for about a year, and I saw the number on it. So then that's when the tears and the screaming finally happened. It was like, oh my gosh, my heart is broken and I'm in debt. So how I really got over it, or the next step that I really took, was when I was sitting in my childhood room and I looked at the bookshelf and I saw a Dalai Lama book. It's called The Art of Happiness. And one of the things that really struck me about that book was the Dalai Lama was talking about the idea of a fantasy, and that we have these things that we create in our heads, and that we do whatever we need to do to fulfill that fantasy. And so I realized right then and there that relationship that I was in was actually a fantasy. I was so caught up in chasing the idea of an ideal relationship that I did whatever it took to get it, and that meant spending money. So when I came to that realization, I thought, okay, what is my next step? What is it that I need to do literally right now to get out of debt, to get out of my parents' home, and to be independent again? And so the first thing I thought was, well, I live 15-minute walk away from the mall, and I had a job there. So I'm just gonna walk there and see if the manager at the restaurant I used to work at would take me back, and he did. Then I walked to the Gap, which was about a 5-minute walk down from the restaurant. I thought maybe they'll take me back, and so that's what I did. And I got 2 part-time jobs, and then I just kept going from there. When I finally met my husband, it was really interesting how we approached the dialogue in our relationship. It just naturally led to talking about debt. And so he was chatting about his student debt, I was just talking about how I got to credit card debt, and then we were just really talking about the ways that we attacked the debt. And so it started from that, and it was really interesting because after he proposed to me and we went out to dinner, and I actually asked him, I'm like, what was the one thing that made you decide that you wanted to marry me? And I'm tearing up right now. He said, I'm getting emotional. He actually said, it's because I can trust you with my money. And I was like, what? Yeah. When it comes to money relations, both parties bring something to the table. And that it is an equal partnership in all aspects. Both of you are responsible for each other's financial well-being as well as every other aspect of your life. My husband and I really respect each other. We are able to have fights about money and be completely adult about it and not, do the low blows and all of that. Now that we've been married for 7 years, obviously we've been doing something right in our relationship because we talk about money all the time, and I'm not broke anymore. Overcoming that situation really taught me, that I need to keep better boundaries. I think that was the number one thing that really led me to debt and to be very wasteful with my money, was not having those boundaries. I found that once I kept better boundaries and once I really assessed what I valued, more opportunities came, my bank account grew, and that's when I met my husband and all of that fun stuff.
All right, let's talk lessons learned. My top takeaway from my chat with Sarah is to establish your money boundaries. If you're not sure what money boundaries you should be setting, start by noticing the financial patterns in your past relationships. Where do you consistently feel pushed off course? When do things get uncomfortable for you? What issues come up again and again and again? Once you identify these patterns, you can set specific money boundaries in response to help shift these patterns into healthier financial behaviors and better relationship dynamics. These can be simple statements like, I want to be involved in all of my financial decisions, or I don't want to spend money out of a sense of obligation or fear that someone will be upset with me, or I don't want to spend money I don't have. Like the money you earn and the money you spend, the people you surround yourself with either support you or they cost you. So make a commitment to surround yourself with people and partners who lift you up and empower you to take bold action toward your financial goals. To find more about Sarah, you can follow her at Sarah Li Cain. And remember to subscribe to the channel for more real money talk from money insiders and more.